This is exactly how I sell any brand and do over 100,000 a month on Amazon, and some of the ungating suppliers that I use that you guys can go ahead and use for your business, so you guys can go ahead and get approved for a bunch of different brands. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Eric Cooper. I've sold well over $2 million on Amazon and sell consistently over 100,000 a month. This channel, I share what's working with me, what stuff is not, some of the mistakes that I've made along the way of selling on Amazon for over 3 years. And I'm just helping others take action on starting their own business, because this is exactly how I started, by watching someone talk about Amazon. So if I can inspire some of you guys to get started, I'm happy to do that. Now, this is just what is going to be covered in today's video. I'm going to be showing you guys why most people are giving up on ungating, how you should actually go about getting around ungating, the ungating suppliers you should use to get going, and I'm also going to be talking about ways to 10x your growth even if you're brand new to Amazon. Okay, let's just start off with very simple, which is why most people give up on ungating, because this is the biggest thing that's talked about in Amazon, and it's very easy to kind of understand why. So this is where most people start their Amazon journey. Okay, this is where people are motivated, right? We're not down low, because down low people just never start their business. This is where most people are, all right? They were excited to start the business, super pumped up. They got in, they're excited. Then they find their first gated product. Then they find their second, then their third. And then they want to give up. Now, you cannot be like most of these people. And this is why ungating is the biggest thing you hear about, because everyone starts, and this is the first hurdle that you run into. Now, what you have to understand about business is you will always have somewhat of a hurdle to get over. Once you get over the ungating hurdle, your next hurdle is, how do I find more products? How do I get, better products? How do I get more stable products, right? But if you just stay consistent and you continue to want to improve and stop worrying about the results, worrying about your hurdles, you will continue to grow this business, okay? Now, this isn't me just trying to be a motivational speaker, but this is genuinely what happens to most people. So if you really want to succeed in any business, not just Amazon, you need to get over this, okay? Stop giving up on your first hurdle and just continue to pursue the business. My advice to anybody is, if you want to be successful, put 1 year into a business. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about anything. Just focus solely on taking the action every day, and you will see enough success to continue. That's my best advice. That's literally what worked for me. So hopefully that helps some of you. Now, before we talk about how you guys should get around ungating and getting around this whole process, I first want to explain to you guys exactly what ungating is, okay? So what is ungating? How do we get around this? So essentially what ungating is, Amazon does not allow you to sell any brand as a new Amazon seller, okay? You will typically need to request approval or ungated, okay? That is all gating is. So typically, as a new seller, you will need to request approval and ungate that brand, okay? You're not going to be automatically ready to go as a newer seller, okay? Now, I've also put together some brands below this video, so you guys can go ahead and get auto-approved to sell to help you get going, okay? It's just inside of my free community called ICA Free, so this will be in the description. You can use these brands to get started with the business. These are auto-approval brands that you put into your account, and you can at least get some movement, have some brands that you're auto-approved to sell, and you can go ahead and start making some money. Now, do not let ungating scare you, okay? Because like I said, this is actually a good thing, because it means you'll have a lot less competition on your listings once you actually get approved for those brands to go ahead and sell them, right? Just like I was showing earlier, most people give up on their first hurdle, and that's just how it is. So if you can get around that hurdle, you now have a lot less people to worry about, a lot less competition, because that cuts over, 70% of people. People just give up on their first hurdle, and that's sad reality. But if you can just get over that hump, you will now have, products that are a lot more untapped, okay? Now, how do we actually go ahead and get ungated? The best thing to do is to purchase 10 units from a supplier. You're going to submit the order confirmation or invoice. Invoices are always going to be better. You will see on some ungate requirements, sometimes it's more than 10 units. Sometimes they want only invoices. Make sure you read the fine print on what they're asking for, just to make sure you're actually submitting the right information. Now, you will get declined, okay? So make sure you are resubmitting. Amazon tends to decline people even if it's perfect. I've seen it with some of the students that I work with. One student has an invoice from here, the other person has the exact same invoice. One person gets ungated, right away. The other is like on their 20th try. It's just how it is sometimes. Amazon can be like that, and it's something that's out of our control. But again, we can't give up on the first thing that gets in our way, because inevitably you're going to have more things come in your way. So you got to be ready to get around them. Now, it can take 10 to 20 tries to get ungated, so just keep resubmitting and adding additional information, whether that's a shipping confirmation, delivery confirmation, all that kind of fun stuff. Just add that. And then one big thing is make sure the address actually matches the address on your Amazon seller account. I find that when you actually make sure both of those match, you'll have a lot higher success rate of being approved. So I would recommend that you guys make sure those match, okay? Now, this is just an example of a Target invoice. Target does typically work for ungating, but it can be hit or miss. But this is just what you're looking for, okay? Obviously, you'd want the quantity to be 10. You'll see the item here. And you want to essentially highlight the address information, okay, as well as the product and the quantity. I just recommend highlighting these because those are going to be the key details they need to see. They need to see the brand, they need to see the quantity of 10, and they need to see the address, okay, just to confirm that it's actually you ordering the product. Now, one little trick that no one really knows about when it comes to ungating is you can actually get ungated for very cheap, okay? So brands just need to match, but the products do not. So if you're trying to get ungated for Converse, instead of buying 10 Converse shoes and spending a ton of money, you could literally just buy 10 laces that are Converse. Okay, very easy way to get ungated without spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. And it's just a lot easier. Okay, now this is just another example. All right, we have the Tide and the Tide to go. This works really well as well. Again, just one example so you guys can kind of start thinking. Anytime you see a product or brand that you want to get ungated for, try to find the cheapest item within that brand. All right, now the truth is, how do we actually get around ungating? All right, is there a way for us to get around ungating and just make our lives a lot easier? There is a couple tricks that I'm going to share with you guys today that will help you get around gating, but it will still be something that is struggle at the start as a beginner, but I'm going to be sharing what you can do. Sell more products, okay? Yes, just selling more products will help your auto approval rate, and you'll get ungated for a lot more products easier. Once you start selling about 2-3K in sales, once you do that, you will be auto approved for a lot more products. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, how am I supposed to sell more products if I'm not approved to sell a lot of products? One thing to do is start sourcing a lot. Just start sourcing more products a lot and build up a catalog of products that are profitable, or maybe not even the most profitable, but do have some profit or they're break even. And look for all the ones that you're auto approved to sell right away, because there will be products you're approved to sell without any requirements, without anything. You can sell them right away. Those are the products that you want to sell and get the ball rolling with, okay? This is what I tell every single student, and it is the best thing to do, because not only are you not worrying about the ungating, but you're focused on building up your account health, building up your store, and building some momentum. And once you have all that momentum, you'll naturally get auto-approved for a lot more products, okay? So this would be my advice for a lot of you is, just focus on getting some sales and getting the ball rolling. You don't have to be looking for 50% ROI for every item, okay? Sometimes you may even take a little bit of, products that are break even, or, $1, $2 profit, nothing too crazy. But those products are good to just get your store moving, okay? These are some ungating suppliers as well that you guys can go ahead and use. Target, super popular. Kohl's, Foot Locker, Frontier Co-op. Make sure you open up the wholesale account with Frontier Co-op. They have like a business wholesale. Make sure you use that. EE Distribution is good. They have a lot of toys. Vitacost, Ulta, and Home Depot. These are all options you can use within the US. Now, for some of you guys that don't know me, I'm from Canada. So I also got some Canadian ones that you guys can go ahead and use. So Best Buy, Staples, Home Depot, Costco. Costco, you'll probably want a business account as well. Canadian Tire, London Drugs, Hudson's Bay, Toys R Us, and well.ca. Those are some sites you guys can go ahead and use and get ungated with. Now, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Okay, those are some suppliers that you guys can go ahead and use to just get ungated and get the ball rolling. But my best piece of advice for everyone is to just start trying to sell more products and don't get caught up on this ungating. I see people going and ungating random brands, random products without even having a profitable product within that brand. When I first started Amazon, I got Ungated in Colgate and never sold that brand ever. I wasted my time, but I also wasted my money getting Ungated for that product. So instead, focus all of your time on practicing sourcing and learning the storefront stocking strategy, okay? I've showed many videos on how to start doing that. You guys can check out some of those other videos. That is the best way to get into Amazon. Now, for those of you guys that want to really 10x your growth, even as a beginner, below this video, I have a full live training that I'm gonna be hosting, completely live, where I walk through exactly the best way to find your first product, how you should go about getting Ungated in a lot more brands easily, and how to hire your first virtual assistant to start automating more of this business, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a ton of time. If you want to register for that event, you guys can do that below this. And like I said, I mean, that's going to help you a ton. It's completely free to just show up and learn a ton of different information. So I would highly recommend that. And then for those of you guys that want to work with me directly, have my help one-on-one, you can also apply to work one-on-one below this video. And yeah, you can work one-on-one with me.